Hey athletes, we're talking step forward lunge. Now this goes for most lunges. We'll be doing other videos on lunges later, but we're talking step forward lunges. This is what I will primarily have my athletes do if they need a regression from, let's say, a jumping lunge or something like that. This step forward lunge is great because it makes that quadricep explode, especially if we do it the way I'm going to have you do it. So let's watch one. So, hopefully by now, you've seen the video on step-ups. If you haven't seen the video on step-ups, you need to go back because what we do on the step-up is very, very similar to what we do on this lunge. And here's why. So when we step forward into our lunge, our primary mover, just like the step-up, is our quadricep, right? We're trying to work our quad. Depending upon how low you can get a little more glute action. But again, this is a leg exercise. We're trying to make our quads do this work. So it needs to be very similar to our step up. Now remember back to our step up. Where do we try to put our pressure? Right there. Right in the ankle of our body or just in front of, right in the center of our foot here. Okay? So heels are down. Toes are slightly down. But again, we're way more concerned with what the heck is going on here. Okay? So, as I descend, you can see what's going on. My ankle's bending, okay? My ankle's bending. Now, a lot of people are going to see the fact that the knee is going forward, okay? And then they get scared. They say, holy crap, you're bending in your knee a ton. You've got a lot of problems going on. But what's really bending here? The thing that's really bending is actually my ankle, right? Look it. You can see that my foot... So watch right here, right? My ankle. You can see that my foot stays there. My ankle bends and my knee, yeah, it travels forward. But again, the only reason for that is look at how much ankle flex, dorsiflexion I get, okay? There's a huge bend in it. And again, by being able to bend a ton in my ankle and allow my Achilles tendon here to stretch, that's taking a ton of pressure away from my knee because if you watch just the knee, so just watch the knee here, it only goes that far, okay? In some of the faults that we'll talk about, you're going to see that this knee has to do a lot more work if we do it wrong. So, no, lunges aren't bad for your knee, Grandma. The fact that you're afraid to let your knee go forward is the problem. Now, remember back to the step-up video? Sure, my knee is slightly forward in front of your toe. Will yours be? Most likely not. I have some freakish ankle mobility. You might not. But again, a cue that's going to be really good for people, especially if you're a coach or you're just starting out as an athlete, all I'm really looking for is that your knee is in front of your ankle. By how much? That's up to your range of motion, your mobility. I don't want you to purposefully push your knee forward by any means, okay? I just want it slightly in front of your ankle so that I know your quadricep is on. Again, I don't want you to push your knee so far that your heel comes up, okay? Your whole foot is flat, you bend at the ankle, your knee travels forward. Then from here, I'm literally, and you probably know I'm going to say it, I'm literally trying to kick the floor away. By driving as much energy into the floor and pushing through it, that's going to cause me to come back. Watch this. Boom, I push through the ground and I'm able to return to my position. So I go forward into my lunge, I bend at the ankle, allowing my knee to travel forward, allowing my quadricep to get ready, to gear up, to stretch like a big rubber band, and boom. I discharge through my leg one more time, and I return to my starting position and drive. Okay? Now, here are some faults to that. Biggest fault, you're putting way too much pressure in your heel. You're going to hear me talk about this a lot because, man, I really want to debunk this push through your heel crap. Now, if you're a low bar back squatter, Yeah, you probably push through your heel a little bit more than the average person, but again, you're still pushing through your middle of your foot. And if you don't know what a low bar squat is, don't worry about it. So, you actually see me here adjust my back foot because this is just not comfortable for me what I'm about to do. Bad things happen to good people on this one. So I'm going to come straight down, and what I'm going to try to do is simulate what a lot of people do. They try not to bend at their ankle, or maybe they're not even purposefully doing it, they just don't understand that their ankle needs to bend, and what they're trying to do is go straight down from here. Their shin angle is perfectly straight up and down, which isn't ideal for us. And again, I'm putting all the pressure in my heel. My knee just barely, and I do mean just barely, gets in front of my ankle. Okay, just barely. Now, some people, this is their best range of motion. Okay, let's work on that ankle flex. But if you notice, and I'm going to rewind, watch my knee. Watch what's happening in my knee. As I come down, you probably hear it. It's like a piano wire. You can see that the only motion in my lower body is right there. There's nothing going on at the ankle. There's nothing really going on at the hip. It's all that creaky, just the knee. Yeah, you better believe your knee is on fire if you do this enough times. Why? Because you are putting all of the load in a joint. Okay? Now, if we can go back and show that when we go into our ankle, everything is bending at the same time, right? My ankle, my knee, and my hip all take a little bit of this load. That's great. We have 3 joints doing the work, where in the other case, that fault of us just using our knee, we only had 1 joint taking the brunt of it. But now we have all 3 going. That way I don't have any pain in my joints, and my quad can do its job. Okay, so let's fast forward back to me using my knee and putting too much pressure in my heel. Alright, so I'm readjusting, I go straight down. Now, watch what happens in order for me to come back to my standing position. So watch this. I drive through the floor because I'm still a middle of a foot kind of guy. So you'll see my knee will shift forward a little bit, but then I shoot. Now, first thing to move is not my whole body. It's my hip. I am literally displacing my hip. It's going to send backwards and a little bit upward, and it's going to put all of the effort into my hamstring. Why? I'm pushing through my heel. Okay, even though I'm pushing through my middle of my foot, it's my habit, it's a good habit to be in, but I'm still trying to just push through my heel. Again, the first thing to move is my hip. I'm technically tipping way over, okay? My ass is shooting up, and my hamstring is turning on. Muscles that I don't want to have working when I'm doing this motion. So watch. It shifts back, and then I stand up. Boom, again. My hip is pretty high here. It's somewhat hard to see, but my hamstring is doing a lot of that work. My quad's just barely doing anything at all. And again, we're trying to use our quad to push us back to our position, right? So I go down. Here's a really good one. I launch back. Again, I have the habit of trying to send my knee forward, and you can see it right here. I'm using my ankle because my knee would hurt like crazy if I just shot back from there. But again, I'm predominantly using my hamstring. I'm essentially trying to pull myself to a standing position rather than push myself with my quad. And then finally, our last fault is not bending our back leg. So, by keeping this leg straight, that puts me a little higher. It puts a little bit more effort here, and it's really hard for me to keep my whole foot down and push through the center of my foot. So, we want to try to bend this knee so that we're going down. You don't have to touch the floor, okay? By no means you have to touch the ground with your knee, but again, we want it to be bent so that we can activate our quadricep the best, right? Our quad right here. So again, we want that lunge to look like this. Pushing back, we go down, and we push back. We go down, and we push back. Again, using our quadricep in a pushing fashion. This is a lower body push not a pull. Stay out of your hamstrings. Use those quads.